The year was 1975. Portugal had just come out of a revolution, the Carnation Revolution, which ended nearly 5 decades of authoritarian rule. It was a new beginning for the country: free elections, democracy, and the painful process of decolonization. As Portugal let go of its African colonies like Angola, Mozambique, and Cape Verde, it also opened a new chapter, one that would quietly involve Nigeria. Thousands of kilometers away, Nigeria was experiencing a different story. The early 1970s had brought an oil boom, money flowed, infrastructure expanded, but beneath the surface, inequality deepened, and political tension brewed. By the late 1970s, things were beginning to unravel. It was in the middle of these global shifts that a quiet migration began. Few people noticed, even fewer expected it to last. Meet Bamidele. He was 23 years old, from Ibadan. In 1979, he received news that he had earned a scholarship to study marine engineering at a technical school in Lisbon. He had never left Nigeria before. He spoke no Portuguese, but with a single suitcase and his father's blessings, he boarded a plane and flew into the unknown. Lisbon welcomed him with cold winds and unfamiliar signs. There were no Nigerian restaurants, no community groups. He didn't see a single person who looked like him for weeks. But he had his books, his faith, and a dream that one day, his skills would change his family's fortunes. Bamidele wasn't alone. A few other Nigerian students had come earlier in the decade, some on diplomatic missions, others through Catholic institutions or connections with Angolan friends. They were not many, but they were the beginning. They gathered in tiny flats, cooked together with the few ingredients they could find, and shared news from home. Letters took weeks to arrive. Long-distance calls were too expensive, but they managed. For these early migrants, Portugal was not yet a destination. It was a detour, a temporary station before going home. But home, as it turned out, kept changing. And so did Portugal. This was only the beginning, the first footsteps, quiet, brave, full of hope. In the next episode, we'll explore how these pioneers began to adapt, and how Portugal began to change around them. Subscribe for the next story in this series. Let's keep our history alive.